Hey everyone, meteorologist Michael Priante from WeatherWorks. I'm joined here with my coworker Brad Miller. How you doing, Brad?
All right, Mike. We're dealing with this nor'easter,
Right.
and we've got a lot of heavy rain right now here in Hackettstown outside our home office, and that rain's going to be around at least for the next 12 to 24 hours for much of the Northeast.
Right, and this storm is pretty big, and it's going to be bringing significant impacts to parts of the I-95 corridor. And if we go through, basically our little update here and see what's going on with the Northeast. We'll take a look at a wider picture of the country, seeing what's going on. We have a lot going on northwest, some showers there. We got some storms down in the southwest U.S., but the main thing to look at here is going to be this area in the northeast.
Yeah, what catches your eye is all that rain right there over eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and now getting into southern New England. So it's going to soak her. We need the rain, that's for sure, but
that's
not
for sure.
This much all at once.
Yeah, actually, there were some places already in like western Mass. They've been declaring a mild drought.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely going to be nice for them to get the needed rainfall, though a lot of rainfall, but enough to prevent us from really going into a further worse drought. We take a little closer look across the Northeast, and the regional radar shows you that, yeah, it's raining pretty good out here in the office, and it's getting into parts of Connecticut and even into Rhode Island, and this is going to continue to go north as we go into the rest of this evening, and some of this rain could be pretty heavy at times.
Yeah, the drive home for a lot of folks there between Boston and New York City, it's going to be a rough one. That rain's already coming down, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And on top of that, the wind is beginning to pick up. So all the ingredients are there for nor'easter, but minus the snow at the moment. This is only mid-October, but if this were mid-December, we'd be talking about a lot of snow for a good portion of the area.
Right, and if we take a look at and see kind of what some of the computer guidance is showing us, this is the NAM model. It's a short-range model we like to look at. We like to see things, within 24 hours of the event. We use the GFS and the Euro for more longer range outlooks, but this is what we're looking at, and this is a simulated radar, and you can see sort of the storm starts to kind of spin up and, as we call, rapidly intensify, possibly even bombing out.
Right.
With the pressure dropping so much.
Yeah, it's going to peak in intensity most likely tomorrow morning somewhere over southern New Hampshire. And notice how the storm takes on that northwest to southeastern orientation, and that's a sign to us that it's becoming negatively tilted, and usually that means that there's going to be a prolonged period of rain. But at the same time, we get this what's called a dry slot moving into the storm. So basically it's going to dry up really quickly from south to north, but areas that do get that extended period of rain, we're talking some healthy amounts here, even some areas maybe getting 4 or 5 inches, parts of Hudson Valley into Connecticut.
That's right, Brad. And if we actually, the next slide shows you just that. It's this is a accumulated rainfall through tomorrow afternoon, and you can see that it's going to be a decent amount of rain. The pink colors here shown here, these are really the amounts that are over 2 inches of rainfall. Everything else behind that, the blues, are more 1 to 1.5. But a couple of these here, these little like dots of purple, these are actually 3 to 5 inches of rainfall. And now again, that's not where they're going to happen, for sure. There's going to be some variations. The model can't, exactly pinpoint
but the
who's going to
potential's
get
there, and the amount of moisture is there. So yeah, somebody's going to get a lot of rain out of this. And most areas, again, like Mike said, we're talking about 1 to 2.5, maybe 3 inches, but there are going to be some isolated, much higher amounts.
Right, and basically, if you're in this area, there's definitely going to be, like I said, a lot of rain. One thing to note is that we have the leaves that have fallen, and I know people are starting to collect leaves, especially in New England. There's been a lot of piles. That helps to clog the drains, and of course, there's going to be some poor drainage flooding across the area. I think streams and creeks will probably be a little bit on the lower side because there hasn't been a lot of rain. So thankfully, we aren't really. We've been in a drought, mild drought, so really there hasn't been a lot of rain. So thankfully, there won't be a whole lot of issues there. But the next thing that I want to take a look at, and actually one of the last issues with this storm, is going to be the wind.
Right, you wouldn't have a nor'easter without the wind.
Right.
And, it's going to be increasing as we go on through our Wednesday night, and it's probably going to peak during the day on Thursday as the rain moves out. However, there is a potential for some power outages, some trees down, especially with now wet ground. So something we'll be watching.
Definitely, and some of these, you can see this this computer model here showing the wind gusts, and it's putting out anywhere from, and this is in knots. So this is what we use as a it's not miles per hour, but it's a little bit
more of a nautical way to
exactly
measure the wind.
But
you can see some of the yellows there. Was that 50 to 60 knots.
60 knots, which would translate to more like 60, 70 mile an hour gusts.
They're going to go right on by there, Cape Cod and
yeah, these guys out
Boston.
Here. Yeah, these guys out here, the Cape, parts of, Nantucket, Block Island, even the eastern shores of Long Island.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt seeing some 60-mile-per-hour gusts over there, but most inland guys are probably going to be more so, in the 40 to 50-mile-per-hour range, but sustained winds, 20 to 30. So, again, like I mentioned before, you have the leaves in the trees, and, you have all that wind and rain pulling them down. You're going to see some branches and trees.
There may not be many leaves left after this.
That's true, yeah. So if you didn't do leaf peeping early, I'm sorry, but it's probably not going to be the best, unfortunately, this Friday or Saturday. But that's those are the things to consider with this storm, and really here are the impacts. So number one, we didn't mention this, but coastal flooding. I mean, you have that easterly wind. There's going to be some areas along the Jersey Shore, the Sound of Long Island, and even parts of southeast New England. They're going to see, some higher tides, 1 to 2 feet, which is going to cause some, low-lying areas to see some water. We're not talking, major flooding, but enough to, to cause some flooding.
The normal areas that a lot of folks probably know,
right.
Where their low spots are, but they'll definitely be there next couple of high tide cycles.
Exactly, and the next thing, of course, we mentioned heavy rainfall, general 1 to 3, locally 3 to 5 in those pockets, depending on where you get those heavier bands set up. Not everyone's going to see 5 inches of rain. Most people will see 1 to 2, but again, there could be a couple spots to get those 3-inch plus. And the last thing, of course, we just mentioned the wind gusts, 40 to 65. In general, the higher winds are going to be more likely in southeast New England and parts of the eastern shores of Long Island.
Again, the first real nor'easter of the year. Granted, it's rain, but we're going to have a few more of these, I'm sure, going forward. And as we get colder, snow will become. In fact, we could see a few pockets of snow for the highest elevations of New York and maybe Vermont, but again, not a big issue at the moment. But these are the types of setups that we're going to probably be dealing with here going forward.
Right. And well, thanks for joining us here. That's all we have for today. We're WeatherWorks, your weather experts. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. We have videos twice a week on Facebook, Twitter, on YouTube. Check us out on our Instagram channel. We're on LinkedIn. And as always, at weatherworksinc.com. I'm meteorologist Michael Priante.
And Brad Miller. So we'll see you back here with another update as needed. But if not, have yourself a great weekend. We'll have a brand new video on Thursday.